Seat.
Joe Varden from The Athletic. Michael, after game two, you were critical up here of your players at large. And I'm wondering, and I know that's not the first time that you've done that over your 8 years. How do you decide when to come out here and say those kinds of things about your players?
Well, honesty isn't critical, so I don't view it as being critical. I think it was an honest assessment of the game. And before I came out and spoke to you guys, had the same conversation with our players. Never once will I come into a press conference and say something to you that I haven't spoken to our team about. And our players owned it. I asked them after the game, why did we lose tonight? And they told me we didn't play hard enough. They told me we weren't disciplined enough. So it wasn't critical by any nature. It was an honest assessment.
Mike here.
Mike Singer, Denver Post. Michael, Mike obviously didn't play up to his standards on either end of the floor in game two. How can he help himself? How can he become more engaged on both ends of the floor?
It's not just one player right now, whether it's Michael, Jamal, Aaron, Pope, Nikola, whoever. We have to be a lot more disciplined, a lot more urgent. And if you really want to simplify the first two games, in the first three quarters, we have dominated both games. The Miami Heat are dominated in the fourth quarter. They're averaging 33 points a game in the fourth quarter, shooting over 60% from the field in the fourth quarter, and over 50% from three. So we're up 8 going into the fourth quarter. In game two, we're up 21 going into the fourth quarter of game one. And they opened up on a 15-2 run in that fourth quarter to take control of that game. So how can Michael help himself? How can everybody else help themselves? Communicate, be disciplined, and it starts with the defense. If we defend and rebound, we can get out and run. We had 18 fast break points in game two, 16 in the first half, and 13 in that second quarter. And obviously, as I mentioned, we're not getting any runouts in the fourth quarter because we're defending nobody.
Tim in the back left.
Michael, Tim Reynolds with the Associated Press. Obviously, the first 16 or 17 games of the playoffs for you guys, they weren't easy. Just some of the numbers made them seem that way. How valuable can a little dose of adversity be to a team when you're trying to do what your team is trying to do? How much do you almost need a little bit of an edge to get to where you want to go?
Yeah, I think it's important, to remind us that, just because we're playing at home and we're undefeated, you just can't show up and think that's going to continue. And, coming off of a 4-game sweep against the Lakers, and that was a very hard-fought sweep. They were in every game. We had to fight for every game. So you have to find a way to turn a negative into a positive. We had a really good film session this morning. I gave an opportunity for everybody on our team to speak and talk about what they saw in the film. And it was a very honest conversation, and guys owned what they needed to own. But we have to learn from game two to use it to our advantage, to your point, Tim. And what I know about our group is for years now, we've handled adversity very well, and I have no doubt that tomorrow night we'll be a much more disciplined, urgent team for 48 minutes.
Mark, right here.
Mark Kisla, Denver Post. You talked about the fourth quarter stat just now. If I remember, Magic Johnson used to call it winning time. Beyond being more focused and more disciplined, what can you and your coaching staff do to help your players perform better in the fourth quarter?
Well, I got a great stat. I think quarters 1 through 3 after 2 games, we have around 19% of our possessions are at the end of the shot clock, last 7 seconds. In the fourth quarter of game 1 and 2, that jumps from 19% to 32%, which means we're taking the ball to the net, we're walking it up, we're playing against the zone, and we're getting caught playing in really late clock situations, which is hurting our offense. So obviously what I can do is to try to help our guys defensively, because when we get stops and we get out and run, we've had control of the first 3 quarters, 2 games in a row, making sure we have the right lineups in, and offensively just kind of giving our guys as many ways that they can attack that zone as possible, where we can be effective and at least produce the right shot. Whether we make it or not, that's going to be on our players, but trying to make sure we're producing the right shots against that zone, which has given us some trouble in that fourth quarter.
Standing in the back left.
Wes Goldberg, Locked On Podcast Network. Just to follow up on your point about defense, what is it specifically that the Heat are doing that has been a challenge for the first 2 games? And have you faced a team in this playoff run yet that has moved the ball and off the ball as much as they have?
Well, I showed 17 clips this morning, and they were just, every clip was a discipline clip, if you will, where our discipline, whether it was game plan, whether it's personnel, whether it's defending without fouling, whatever it may be, 17 clips added up to over 40 points in game 2. And that to me is staggering. So what we can do better is just be a lot more disciplined in terms of the game plan, who I'm guarding, and most of that stems from communication. You know, a saying I learned a long time ago, communication is concentration. For me to communicate, I have to know what the hell to say. And if I'm not concentrating, if I'm not focusing, I don't know what to say. And we had way too many examples for an NBA Finals game where we have guys not on the same page because of a lack of communication. Their ball movement, their body movement, obviously they do a really good job with that, but we played 17 games now in these playoffs. I think, and we've shown, think about this, man, going into the fourth quarter, they had 75 points. They're shooting 43% from the field, and we're up 8. So now it's just a matter of sustaining it for a lot closer to 48 minutes.
Vinny, last question in the back left.
Hey, Coach. Vince Goodwill, Yahoo Sports. You've mentioned all the fourth quarter stats, and you guys have held sizable leads going into the fourth quarter. Do you believe tightness might play a role in maybe trying to protect the lead on your home floor? Does the zone lead to some indecision? Do you see anything as far as, like I said, just general tightness and indecision on one end of the floor or another, and it sort of snowballs?
I haven't seen indecision. You know, I've seen, once again, a lack of communication and discipline. And, you know, they played zone not just in the fourth quarter, and we've been fine against it. But I think once that game kind of, you allow a 15-2 run to start that fourth quarter, and you got Nikola out, you got to get Nikola right back in. Now it becomes a different ball game. You know, we want to play fast, they want to play slow. And when you're not getting stops, the advantage Miami Heat, because now they have their 2-2-1 press back to the zone. And as I mentioned before, we're playing way too slow to try to attack that, which is forcing a lot of late clock situations for us. But we got a lot of guys that have been in big games, playoff tested, so I don't think any of it is our guys getting tight. I think it's just not adhering to the discipline that the game needs.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, everybody.
First row to Manny.
Hey, Bruce, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. You obviously spent some time in this city. Curious how often you came to games in this arena and just sort of experienced the ambiance here and what it was like.
I didn't come much. I came once when they played Philly in the playoffs. I think my guy Tyler Johnson was still here. But we played here during the Hoop Hall. We played Princeton here my sophomore year. But I mean, I love this arena. It's a great arena.
We're going to go right side to Barry. Barry, do
Hi, Bruce. Did Coach L ever introduce you to any Heat people? Did you ever have any interaction with Spo or with Pat Riley or in pre-draft workout? And what was that like if you've ever spent time around either of them?
No, I don't. He never introduced me to them. But I think I did have a Heat meeting during the draft combine. But I don't remember much about it. But I think I did.
Manny, do you have a follow-up? Okay. Barry?
So in the limited time back so far, who have you had a chance to see with ties?
No one. I haven't seen anyone yet. But hopefully soon I get to see everyone.
And who's on tap?
Probably, definitely Coach L. I'll see him at some point. I might go back to campus and see the new dorms. I was there last summer working out. So.
Just wanted to ask you about the state of the Hurricanes program. Is there, I guess there was some surprise nationally about a Final Four. Was there any surprise to you? And do you think with Coach L and the climate and all the appealing things about that this is realistic to make a run? You're not going to make the Final Four every year, but make a run consistently.
My surprise, no. Coach L's a great coach. He gets great players to come in. They all buy into his system. They want to win. He get winners to come in and play extremely hard. So not surprised. And each year, I think their goal is to win a national championship. They have the players to do that. So I can't wait till next year to start.
We're going to go to left side, fifth row.
Hi, Bruce. Is there a disadvantage at all of switching coasts, time zones, things like that? Does that matter at all?
No, I don't think so.
We're going to go to the first row in the center here.
Bruce, you've talked so many times about the opportunity to what it means to come back here, but to come back to Miami to play a finals game, you know that you're going to have some fans in the stands. They might be a little conflicted because they're also Heat fans, but just the opportunity to play in the finals here in Miami, what does that mean to you?
It's great. It means a lot. We actually were down in Pinecrest yesterday at Jeff Green's house. We had like a team dinner, and then we drove by UM. So it just brought back memories. Me going to the McDonald's across the street on US 1. And being in the CBS a lot. So it's great to be back.
Any more questions for Bruce? All right, thank you very much.
Second row in the black t-shirt. Blue t-shirt. Right in the middle.
Hey, Nicola, how are you? Sergio Andres from Drafteados, Spain. Jimmy said the other day that he gets his inspiration from watching other sports, other elite athletes do their thing. I was wondering, where do you get that inspiration?
I mean, I think just playing basketball. I think I don't have inspiration from other athletes or whatever. I admire him and I admire them and respect them, but you know, it's a different sport, and it's really cool to meet them or whatever, but I don't have any inspiration from them. Does it make any sense?
One of the lesser talked about aspects of your game is your really high basketball IQ. It's something LeBron praised. When did you realize that your basketball IQ was so high, and how have you used that to your advantage throughout your career?
I don't know. The other people are saying that I'm just trying to play the game and reading the game. So other people talk about me like that, but for me it's just a random basketball or whatever, reading the game.
Right here in the front.
Nikola, Giannis has many times spoken how he draws inspiration from the Greek fans in many cities. Do you make an effort to connect to a lot of Serbians here also, to fans in different cities?
Yeah, I mean the fans are really coming to the games and bringing the flags and cheering my name and just talking to me on my language. So I think that's really cool. Just to see how many Serbians are on the road and they're still coming and bringing the flag and cheering for me. I think that's really nice, and it's nice to play in front of them. So I think that's really cool.
Up front.
Young, ESPN. Nikola, the other day after game one, you looked at the stat sheet and you were surprised to see that Michael Porter Jr. did not hit 7 threes, I think. He's not shooting very well from behind the arc. Is there anything you guys can do to get him more unlocked, and how much do you guys need him to be able to kind of spread that?
I mean, we need everybody, not just him. Yes, we need to do a better job of finding him or just getting him open. That's going to help us collectively, of course, but it's not just him. We need to, as a group, be better.
Fourth row on this side.
AJ Speaks. Question for you: when you're reading the zone and playing against the zone, what did you see from them defensively when you were at the foul line? And I'm curious if you move to the baseline and attack it, what you plan to see or how you may make that adjustment.
I cannot tell you that, my friend, because I think they're looking this too. So, I mean, it's. You know, they're a really intelligent team, really smart. They have really smart players, Jimmy, Bam, Kyle, who can read the moment and read the game, and they can just kind of morph in some different zone, if that make any sense. And just as a team, they know what they want to give up or whatever. You know, they're really intelligent from the coach to the players, and that's why the zone is so effective, not just against us, it's against the whole playoffs, you know. But sometimes we get a good look, sometimes we don't, but I think that's even in a regular man-to-man. Sometimes you get a good shot, sometimes you don't.
Standing on your left.
Aleksandar Žigić, RTS TV, speaking about Serbian. question in native language. Nikola, kako se osjećaš u ovom trenutku? Kakve su očekivanja od naredne utakmice ovdje u Majamiju?
Pa jeste, eto, sjajna da čujemo naš jezik. Pobedili smo s prošlu utakmicu gdje su stvarno bili bolji od nas. Nadamo se da ćemo popraviti najviše komunikaciju na terenu i biti mnogo bolji defanzivno. A samim tim mislim da kada napravimo par odbrana za redom da ćemo dobiti šansu da trčimo malo više u napadu, da ubrzamo malo igru što će nam pomoći.
Tomer on your left.
Tomer Zarli from Clutch Points. Miami's shooting a really high percentage from three in their wins, but especially on their contested threes. Just what have you made of your three-point defense in games 1 and 2 and overall for them in the postseason?
They're shooting against Milwaukee 43%. They're shooting against Boston 40-something%. So they have a good shooters, and that's why they are so deadly and dangerous because you cannot leave them open. Yes, the first game Max and Caleb didn't shoot well, but we know that they're gonna be better. We just need to don't give him wide open looks. You know, they're such a great shooters that they can at least they need to see somebody in front of them, not just a basket.
Go Dan, Tim, and then Lisa. Final questions.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. Nikola, Jamal had a huge game in Game 1. Fewer touches, fewer shot attempts in Game 2. Wondering what you saw about the way that they defended him, if there's anything that you can do to try to get him a little bit more open in Game 3.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't know that. I didn't realize. I mean, when you play the game, you don't think about it. You're just trying to win. But yes, definitely we need to get him going. And like I said, it's not just Jamal or Mike or me or whatever. It's collectively we need to find the open man. I think the open man wins the game. You know, so we need to be better as a unit.
Tim, back left.
Nikola, Tim Reynolds with the Associated Press. Coach Malone was in here just before you and said he showed you guys a lot of film this morning, 17 plays in particular, and said he gave players an opportunity to speak afterward. I'm curious what you saw, and if you shared a message with the group about what you saw in the film, what was it?
I mean, you know, it's communication. I think it was the main word. Just to then don't get them wide open looks. Yes, we know they're gonna score. Yes, we know they have talented players, but we cannot give them open looks, and that was the main key.
Lisa, last question in the back.
Lisa Salters from ESPN. Piggybacking off of that, Coach Malone was really kind of harsh in calling out the effort of the team in Game 2. Just curious as to how you guys received that and how you responded to that when you heard him just question the effort.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably gonna see it tomorrow. Did we respond? Are we gonna respond well or not? But you know, when I mean that's the answer.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Right on the first row.
Hey, Mike Singer, Denver Post. When you looked at the film from Game 2 and you audited it yourself, where did you see areas that you could have been better?
Yeah, me personally, I mean, I think intensity and energy wasn't where it needed to be for me personally, or really the team as a whole. You know, we could talk about the mistakes that we had defensively, but really it's about intensity. There's stuff we got to clean up. Like, they're a really good team. They're doing some actions that are hard to guard. So our communication has to be on point. But really, I think that's the main things. I think communication, because those defensive lapses can make it look like we're not playing hard because they get open shots. But really, we just need to be locked into what we need to be doing, the coverages.
And Malone said you guys had a pretty honest film session this morning. You know, can you describe it? Can you take us into that film session as much as you can?
Yeah, I mean, I think we knew we let an opportunity go in that Game 2, and we just wanted to see what happened, hold each other accountable, and also just talk through everything, because as much as it is energy and effort, like, we're playing a great team, so we got to give them credit and see areas where we can attack them better and guard them better.
We're going to go on the left side, second row.
Hi, Michael Esteban calling from NBA Brazil. We have a lot of people in Brazil watching the finals. How it's like for you at this moment, knowing the whole world is watching the finals, watching you in social media? How you work at this moment with the fans and everything?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. We're on a big stage. We're in a big moment. Try not to make it too big, you know, still at the end of the day, it's just a basketball. So try not to make it as big as everyone else tries to make it. Just, you know, just view it as, you know, I'm a part of a good team. Our team just needs to view it as we're in this together, try to do something special. So we kind of block out all the noise, but it is cool knowing that we're able to play in front of so many people, inspire so many people.
We're going to go to right side, third row.
Michael Pina, The Ringer. Jimmy Butler's been able to find open teammates behind the three-point line in the first 2 games of this series. Do you feel like you guys have been over-helping a little bit, particularly when he's isolated on the wing?
Yeah, I think probably over-helping a tad bit. AG's been doing a pretty good job limiting his shots, you know, him getting downhill. And then that's what he's doing. He's facilitating. He's a winning player who likes to get his teammates involved. So a lot of times he's driving the pass, not necessarily to shoot. So we definitely got to fan out the shooters. They got way too many open threes the first couple games.
We're going to go to the middle, third row.
Hey, Michael. Alex Toledo, 5 Reasons Sports. Just wanted to ask you, with the amount of actions that the Heat are running on the perimeter, it feels like it's sort of like a mirror image thing going on with you guys. Both teams are heavy on ball movement, player movement. How hard do they make it with the amount of actions they run to kind of defend them with the multiple efforts you have to make?
Yeah, they run some pretty tough actions to guard. You know, some unique actions that I think probably only they do. They got a lot of shooters who will run up and just slip. So to try to confuse your coverage, whether you're switching or you're staying with your own. So I think that's the main thing. That's why I say communication, because they are doing some things to try to confuse us out there defensively, and we just got to stay locked into our game plan.
We're going to go to the right side, second row.
Matt Moore, Action Network. Michael, you guys as a team had a lot of breakdowns on switches in game 2. Was that more on your side in terms of the communication from you guys as a team, or were there things that Miami's doing that make those switches more difficult to navigate?
Yeah, I think it's both. We probably could communicate a little bit better and also just be more aware of the actions they're running, but also I think they're playing off of our coverages. They're hearing what we're communicating to each other, and then they're doing the opposite. You know, if we say switch, they're slipping out for open threes. And then if we don't say switch, they're actually going to set the screen. So they do a really good job playing off of what our game plan is. So that's what this film session was about this morning, just fixing some of that. So hopefully they don't get as many open shots.
We're going to go right side to Mike again.
Mike Singer, Denver Post. I think you're 3 of 17 from 3 throughout the first 2 games. When your three-pointer is not falling like you're accustomed to doing, how can you help yourself? Where else can you attack?
Yeah, I just got to play with energy and effort, and I think I'll fall into some easy buckets, you know, off of cuts, off of transition. And my three-pointer won't keep I'm not going to keep missing that many threes. So I just got to stay confident in myself. And like you said, if that's not falling, figure out other ways to help the team. But I definitely can mix in some driving, closeouts, get to the hole, and then get out in transition. Try to find some easy ones, get on the glass, things like that.
We're going to stick to the right side, first row.
Michael, you're obviously always frequently guarded by players who are shorter, but in this case, when it's a much shorter player like a Gabe Vincent, is there ever a temptation to drive, or do you not want it to mess with your game as far as how often you shoot threes when you do other things?
Yeah, I think that's part of sacrificing for this team, because there may be times where one of us feels like we have a mismatch, but that's just not the offense that we're running at the moment. So there's times in transition when you can try to utilize a mismatch that you have. You know, obviously if Gabe Vincent is guarding me, I feel like I could just get the ball and go score, but that's not necessarily what, you know, our team offense is about it. That's not what we've been doing this whole year. So if that means staying spaced, even though I feel like I have a matchup, sometimes that's what I have to do. But to your point, yeah, there's probably ways, you know, getting on the glass, getting downhill, trying to use my size to get some easy shots around the rim that I could be doing a little bit better.
We're going to take one more question, left side, fourth row.
Hello, NBA Mexico. I know you were telling that you want to like block all the noise around the finals and not make it so big, but how do you make it if it's the first final game for you outside home? How do you block like the Miami and all the noise it's around?
I think I really think it's just, I mean, you're going to hear, you're going to, there's distractions out there. You're going to hear the noise. But at the end of the day, you have to just, not back down from the moment. We all know it's a big moment. I think we're just trying to be locked in and stay as poised and as in the moment as possible and not let it get too big. So that's all I mean by that. But we definitely know it's big. And yeah, we just gotta try to limit the noise and just until we get this thing done, just keep it as small as possible.
Thank you, Michael.
I appreciate it.
All, please raise your hand. We've got the boom mics on each side. Dan, over here on the right.
I don't know where raise a hand.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. Jamal, first game you saw a few different kinds of coverages. You saw a lot more of Jimmy in game 2. I'm wondering what your mentality is when you see that you have that more length on you, him as an individual defender, what kind of challenges he poses for you?
Mentality is the same. I've seen a lot of defenders throughout my career. Jimmy's a good defender. Got great hands, anticipation. Obviously, he's a little taller than me. I'm not going to tell you how to beat it, but I got my ways. Just got to keep him guessing, keep him working. Just because he's on me doesn't mean I can't be a part of the play or not put pressure on the defense. I thought I had some really good looks throughout the game, just missed them. That's all I got. Yeah.
Mark, over here.
Mark Kisler, Denver Post. What I really want to know is what's the best flavor of Starburst, but strawberry? All right. Not orange. Okay.
No.
No, not even close. What basketball question is, you guys have talked all season about communicating with one another, not just on the floor, but between games and being really open to and taking responsibility and accountability. Coach Malone's talked about everybody talking at team meeting today and going to team dinner. How much does that help in a situation like this where you're 1-1?
Yeah, it helps a lot. Jeff took us to team dinner last night at his house, all the way out in Narnia. But it was a good vibe, just to have everybody there, forgetting about the last game, knowing that we're here as a team, as a family, trying to accomplish something means a lot. So a lot of it is mentality for me, me. I just like to keep the right mindset. So when everybody's in a good spirit and even coming off a loss, I think that's huge. So shout out to Jeff for getting that team activity together. And everybody in film, I think Coach did a good job of just making everybody speak up and give their own thoughts. And if we disagree, then we can talk it out, So I think it was a positive. It's been a positive since the loss.
Vince, back left.
Vince Goodwin, Yahoo Sports. Jamal, you guys have had sizable leads going into the fourth quarter of both games, 1 and 2. When you look at the film or you just being on the floor doing your own sort of dissection, does tightness play a role into any of the indecision or Miami zone? Can you pinpoint one thing or another that's led to controlling the game in the first 3 quarters and Miami sort of storming their way back?
Tightness like what?
Playing tight, maybe being a little indecisive, not being as crisp, flowing, that sort of, not like a nervousness, not a choking thing, but just a little indecision, tightness.
No, if you watch the first 3 minutes of the first quarter last game, it was all our mistakes. If they go small, we didn't switch it and led to open 3. I think it happened twice. They got 2 threes, and then I think Gabe hit a pull-up between me and KCP. We didn't switch, so those are all our mistakes. Those are all our doings. As bad as we played in the first quarter, we're down 3 at the end of it. As bad as we played to start the third, we were up. I forget, but we're up by a little bit, so it's just putting together 48 minutes. Has nothing to do with tightness. We're not playing well, and we were still in control of the game, it felt like. We just got to be able to, like I said, put together 48 minutes and trust each other down the stretch. So yeah.
Tony over here.
Jamal, Tony Jones from The Athletic. Piggybacking off of an earlier question, what did you think, just specifically of your individual balance that you played with in Game 2? Do you feel that you were aggressive enough offensively against Jimmy? If you were, what are some of the things that you can do in Game 3? If you weren't, what are some of the things that you can do in Game 3?
Yeah, I mean, making shots is one. I thought my aggressiveness was fine. Aggressiveness is not just shooting the ball. If I'm getting downhill and making a pass to another guy that's open, then that's me being aggressive. So I think some games call for different types of plays. So I remember the Lakers series was up and down. Guys were flying off stops. Phoenix, both teams were running and gunning. This series is more of a execution defensive game. And we got to stay spaced and stay organized and be more deliberate in our offense and in our defense, what we're trying to take away. So it's a team sport. It's not really about me, but I was aggressive in making my drives and making my reads off rebounds, pushing the ball in transition, so just picking my spots and not forcing. Thought I had some good looks that didn't go down, but like I said, we could have played a lot better. We could have played a lot better and got the job done. We just had some lapses that we had to come back from, and that didn't help us.
Ohm in the front.
Ohm Yomsik, ESPN. Jamal, you were just talking about mentality. From a shooter mentality standpoint, is there anything you see or you say to Michael about the shots he's getting? Because it looks like a lot of them are good looks.
Keep shooting. I'm going to keep running plays for him, especially during the game, just so you can see one go in. But we want to keep shooting and play aggressive. Not just shoot the ball, but be aggressive. If it's not there, go to the rim. If the pass is open, pass it, So I think he'll be fine. Mike's a next shooter, next shot mentality kind of guy. I think he'll be fine, and I'll find a way to get him going in Game 3.
Final two questions here and in the back.
Hey, Jamal. Jose from Drafteados, Spain. Bam Adebayo just told us the best advice he received for the finals was from D-Wade in 2020. Can you tell us the best advice that you received for these finals and who gave it to you?
I mean, I think I haven't really, probably just talking to my family, just realizing where we came from and how much work it took to get here. Just realizing the opportunity, and I probably see my family, my dad, all my friends back home, everybody supporting from my hometown, especially a small place called Kitchener. Just to take advantage of the opportunity, that this is something that personally I've been dreaming about as a kid. So I'll say that's the one that's resonated the most in realizing the opportunity.
Last question in the back.
Hey, Jamal. Rob Mahoney from The Ringer. With you and Nikola, Coach Malone, the guys on the team who have been here for a minute, you've had time to grow together. Do you have points of reference for a moment like this? This is obviously a huge stage, a 1-1 series. What do you turn to in terms of your experiences playing, coaching, working together for a moment like this one?
We've always been a resilient team. We've always had that, and we've always had that chemistry. That's one of our biggest advantages is our chemistry and how long we've been playing together. The continuity that we have, the reads that we make on the fly, no matter what the defense is doing. I'd say just as long as we stay together and have that bounce back mentality, we'll be fine. We've been in positions like this before. I mean, it's the first loss in 7 games, I think. So we're not doing a bad job. We just gotta refocus, sharpen the mentality, and like I said, be more deliberate on both ends of the floor, and we'll be fine.
Thank you, Jamal.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.
Going in the middle here.
Hey, Aaron. Manny Navarro with The Athletic.
How you doing, Manny?
Good. You played in this arena quite a bit, obviously, when you were with the Magic. Just curious, from a noise standpoint, ambiance standpoint, where it ranks in the NBA.
It's up there, man. It's top 5. This spot gets rocking.
And is there, obviously you played here as a visitor, but is there just any cool moment to stick out about this arena in the past as a fan watching games here or whatever?
Watching D-Wade go through his run, watching Bronny and them go through their run. It was some iconic moments. Ray hitting the tray. Yeah.
We're going to go to the right side, second row.
Aaron, Matt Moore, Action
Matt.
Network. First, how are you feeling after post game the other night when you weren't feeling well? Second, what's your confidence level in this team's ability to bounce back? What makes you confident that you guys will bounce back from how you played in game 2?
Definitely feeling a little bit better. Feeling a little under the weather towards the end of that last game. Feeling better now. I'm extremely confident in this group of guys who bounce back all year long. We do a good job correcting and making adjustments, and I'm excited to play.
We're going to go to left side, second row.
Stefan Ciccone from NBA Brazil. How are you? How it is for you to come back to Florida to stay a few days? It's not Orlando, but it's Florida. What kind of reception are you getting here? Did you see some friends from Orlando Magic time you played here?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my friends from Orlando, they're going to drive down and come to the game, so that's nice. Yeah, it's Florida almost feels like a second home to me, so it's nice to be back.
We're going to go to the right side, fourth row.
Michael Pina, the ringer. Jimmy Butler has been able to find open teammates behind the three-point line in the first 2 games of this series. Do you feel like you're overhelping as a team, particularly when he's isolated on the wing?
No, I feel like we've had some breakdowns that are uncharacteristic of us. So we went through film today and cleaned up some of those breakdowns, and I think it'll be a different outcome.
We're going to go to the middle here, third row.
Hey, Aaron, Alex Toledo, 5 Reasons Sports. So Michael mentioned that the Heat are really good at just kind of playing off you guys' coverages where, he said that they'll hear what you guys are doing and then kind of do the opposite and play right into it. With the amount of actions that they're running and the amount of actions that you guys run, is there a mirror image thing going on here, and how hard does it make it on you guys to defend everything going on with the multiple efforts?
Yeah, it's a really, really smart ball club. They read the game very well. They have guys that can do a multitude of things. Yeah, I mean, they make you play for an entire 24, and they make you play through 48 minutes a game, and that's not usually it's not typical for an NBA team, So just guarding through the entire shot clock and guarding through the entire game is going to be really important.
We'll go to the first row on the right side. Mike Singer.
Mike Singer, Denver Post. Malone mentioned that the film session this morning was pretty honest. At this stage in the game, how vital is honesty and accountability and just kind of getting out of everyone's way?
Well, it's important. You got to call a spade a spade. You got to call it like you see it. That's the only way you're going to get better and the only way you're going to make the necessary adjustments. So it's about taking accountability. Looking inward first, and then moving from there.
Go ahead, Chip.
When you say looking inward, what has the last couple of days looked like, assuming that you were feeling well enough to look inward?
Yeah, it's just about where I could have been better on defense. Not breaking down, not letting, just sticking to the game plan a little bit better. As far as rejects or switching or low man, or just the game plan discipline, knowing the personnel. Just where I can be better in that area and start there.
Last question, left side, fourth row.
Paulina, NBA Mexico. I just wanted to ask if you have some routine because of taboo or superstition you do before each game that you want to share with us.
Yeah, I kiss my jersey. Kiss the front of my jersey and the back of my jersey. Thankful for the organization, and just thankful for my family as well.
Thank you, Aaron. Thanks, everybody.